Greetings everyone. I'm Dr. Stuart Mephisto, and in today's episode of Beyond Biology, we embark on a fascinating journey. Join me as we blend the essence of Christmas into a novel creature using the magic of science and our creative minds. Our exploration begins with several facts about the majestic polar bear, followed by an insightful look into the world of the reindeer. Lastly, we'll delve into the possibilities of a hybrid creature, seamlessly merging the best traits of these two iconic species in the wild. Are you ready, spaghetti? Excellent, let us begin. Ursus maritimus is the scientific name for the polar bear. Polar bears inhabit the Arctic region and are adapted to live in the icy environments of the Arctic Circle. Adult males are generally larger than females. Males can weigh between 900 to 1,600 pounds, while females typically weigh between 500 to 700 pounds. Polar bears have large, powerful paws that measure about 12 inches in diameter. These paws help distribute their weight on thin ice and aid in swimming. Despite appearing white, a polar bear's fur is actually translucent, and the individual hairs are hollow. This structure helps them blend in with their snowy surroundings and provides insulation. Beneath their fur, polar bears have black skin, which helps absorb and retain heat from the sun. Polar bears are carnivorous and primarily feed on seals. They are skilled hunters, often waiting for seals to surface through breathing holes in the ice. Polar bears are excellent swimmers and can cover long distances in the water. They use their front paws to propel themselves and their hind legs for steering. Polar bears are classified as vulnerable by the International Union for Conservation of Nature due to the ongoing loss of their sea ice habitat caused by climate change. In the wild, polar bears have an average lifespan of 15 to 18 years, although some individuals can live into their 20s. Female polar bears give birth to 1 to 3 cubs, usually in December or January, after a gestation period of about 8 months. Polar bear cubs depend on their mother for survival and stay with her for about 2.5 years, during which they learn essential survival skills. Climate change is the most significant threat to polar bears, as it leads to the reduction of their sea ice habitat. Polar bear cubs are born blind, covered in a thin layer of fur, and weigh only about 1 pound. Polar bears are solitary animals, and mating pairs come together only during the breeding season. The male may travel long distances in search of a mate. Various international conservation efforts are in place to protect polar bears, including agreements between Arctic nations to manage and preserve their populations. It is challenging to obtain accurate population estimates for polar bears due to their vast and remote habitat. However, estimates suggest there are around 22,000 to 31,000 polar bears in the wild. Polar bears can fast for extended periods, especially during the summer when sea ice is scarce. They rely on their fat reserves during these periods. Polar bears have strong jaws and sharp teeth adapted for biting through the blubber and tough skin of seals. Polar bears are considered a sentinel species, meaning changes in their population and behavior can serve as indicators of the health of the Arctic ecosystem and the impacts of climate change. The reindeer is scientifically known as Rangifer tarandus. Reindeer are found in the Arctic tundra, subarctic regions, boreal forests, and mountainous areas of North America, Europe, Asia, and Greenland. There are several subspecies of reindeer, including woodland caribou, barren ground caribou, and others, each adapted to specific environments. Both males and females grow antlers, but males generally have larger and more complex antlers. Antlers are shed and regrown annually. Reindeer antlers are one of the fastest growing tissues in mammals, growing up to 1 inch per day. Reindeer are social animals, and during certain seasons, they form large herds that can consist of thousands of individuals. The mating season, or rut, typically occurs in the fall, with dominant males competing for the right to mate with females. Some reindeer populations exhibit long-distance migrations, covering vast distances in search of food, with some herds migrating over 3,000 miles annually. In addition to their thick fur, reindeer have a specialized nasal structure that helps warm the cold air before it reaches their lungs. Reindeer are prey to various predators, including wolves and bears. Their keen sense of smell helps them detect predators from a distance. Reindeer are herbivores and primarily feed on lichens, mosses, grasses, and shrubs. They are well adapted to survive on the sparse vegetation of the tundra. Reindeer can lower their metabolic rate and body temperature during harsh winter conditions, conserving energy and adapting to limited food resources. Female reindeer usually give birth to a single calf in late spring. Calves are precocial, able to stand and walk shortly after birth. Female reindeer often isolate themselves from the herd during calving to reduce the risk of predation on their vulnerable calves. Reindeer have cultural importance for indigenous peoples, providing sustenance, materials for clothing and tools, and featuring prominently in folklore and traditions. Some reindeer populations, particularly in Eurasia, have been domesticated and are kept by indigenous peoples for their milk, meat, and hides. Climate change poses a threat to reindeer populations, affecting their habitat and food sources. Warmer temperatures can lead to changes in migration patterns and availability of some subspecies of reindeer are listed as threatened or endangered due to habitat degradation and human activities. Reindeer are subjects of scientific research, contributing to our understanding of Arctic ecosystems, climate change impacts, and animal behavior in extreme environments. Now the moment you have been waiting for. First, I would like to ask if you can share, like, and subscribe to this channel to help us create new and exciting creatures. Thank you for your support. I appreciate everyone who has watched until this point. Here we go. We are going to take the genes of both creatures and combine them to make a brand new species and then explain how they would potentially live in the wild. Let us look into the sky and in a booming voice shout, "By the power of science!" This creature would be known as the polydeian. The polydeian is an intermediate size between a polar bear and a reindeer, with a sturdy build and powerful physique. The upper half of the polydeian resembles a polar bear, featuring a thick white fur coat and muscular shoulders. It has a bear-like face with an elongated snout that accommodates a combination of sharp teeth for hunting and grazing. The polydeian sports a pair of majestic, spiral-shaped antlers resembling those of a reindeer, adding to its unique and imposing appearance. Its fur is not only well insulated but also changes color seasonally, blending with the environment to enhance its camouflage. The polydeian thrives in the Arctic and subarctic regions, combining the habitat preferences of both polar bears and reindeer. Like its hybrid nature, the polydeian is omnivorous, capable of both hunting seals in the icy waters and grazing on vegetation during the summer months. Similar to polar bears, the polydeian is an excellent swimmer, using its powerful front paws to propel itself through the water. It incorporates the migratory behavior of reindeer, covering extensive distances in search of optimal feeding grounds. The polydeian exhibits a mix of the solitary nature of polar bears and the herding behavior of reindeer, forming small family groups during certain times of the year. Female polydeians give birth to 1 or 2 cubs, and the family unit remains close-knit for the early stages of the cubs' lives. The creature communicates using a combination of bear-like roars and reindeer-like vocalizations, creating a unique set of sounds. The polydeian is surprisingly agile, with the ability to move swiftly on both land and ice, thanks to the reindeer-like lower limbs. The polydeian has evolved to cope with the challenges posed by climate change, adapting its behavior and migration patterns accordingly. Due to its hybrid nature and adaptability, the polydeian is not considered endangered, but its habitat faces threats from environmental changes. The polydeian is primarily active during the Arctic night, utilizing its keen senses to navigate in low light conditions. While it has few natural predators, the polydeian competes with other Arctic predators for food, creating a dynamic ecosystem. Wow, what an incredible creature! Thank you all for coming on this adventure with me. You are all amazing, and until next time, I am Dr. Stuart Mephisto, and from everyone here on Beyond Biology, remember, with science anything is possible.